Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Kat. So one very popular industry position that regardless if you transition from industry positions or academia out to industry is business development, or BD in short. So BD professionals in the biotech or pharmaceutical companies really play a crucial role in driving the growth of the company and support the strategic partnership in order to achieve the commercial success. It is also a very common choice after consulting. If you've been in the life science consulting for a while, you want to transition out to industry to maybe have more work-life balance, fewer working hours. I'm sure you've looked at business development, or you've heard of business development as one of the most common exit strategies. So in this video, I want to give you a background of course, what is business development, and then share a real life example of someone who's in this field and how he got the job and his kind of day-to-day life. If you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Catherine. I got my PhD from the US, and I use this channel to educate and provide resources for advanced degree holders who want to explore different career paths other than academia. So first, what is BD? Business development in biotech is the strategic activities and initiatives aimed at identifying, evaluating, and capitalizing on growth opportunities within the biotechnology industry. And those efforts typically involve forging partnerships, collaborations, and licensing agreements to advance research and development, as well as the commercialization objectives. Sounds familiar? It's a lot like consulting. And what do BD professionals do? A lot of times they do what, of course, we consultants do, but in a smaller scale, meaning they focus on one company, the company that you work for. So if you haven't watched my other consulting videos, this is a good reminder to go back and watch them if you're interested in consulting. But for BD professionals specifically, there are a couple directions they can go. And of course, the details will vary based on the company that you work for and the exact role you are hired. Because, it depends on the company size, the stages of company, your exact role could vary. But overall, there are a few areas, the BD professionals focus on. So first, they identify opportunities by researching and analyzing market trends, the competitive activities, and emerging technologies to identify potential business opportunities for the company. And this includes evaluating new therapeutic areas, the products, or the technologies that align with companies' strategic goals. They focus on strategic partnership. So they initiate and negotiate the collaborations between different parties and licensing agreements with other, let's say, either a smaller biotech company that have the technology or a pharmaceutical company that might have the funding, or academic institutions for licensing. These partnerships may involve co-developments, co-promotion, or technology transfer agreements to leverage complementary strength and resources. So similarly, BD professionals are also involved in mergers and acquisitions. BD teams evaluate potential opportunities to expand companies' portfolio, pipeline, or the market presence. They conduct due diligence, the financial analysis, and negotiate terms to ensure that acquisitions align with the company objectives of growth. Sounds familiar again, right? If you've watched my consulting videos. And of course, they're also involved in deal structuring and negotiation. They lead, the negotiation of very complex business deals, and that includes what I've mentioned, licensing agreements or joint ventures or M&A transactions. All of these need to be supported by the financial analysis, the risk analysis, even sometimes the legal agreement to really secure favorable terms for the company. Moreover, they manage companies' intellectual property portfolio. And as you can imagine, that includes patents, trademarks. BD professionals, they negotiate all these deals for the proprietary technologies and products or even research platforms if it's developing multiple products from this platform to maximize the value of company's assets. Another aspect of the job is market expansion. So they would develop and execute strategies to expand the company's market reach and commercialization efforts. This may involve identifying new geographic markets, distribution channels, or target customer segmentations for existing products or pipeline candidates. Next is commercialization planning. So the BD professionals have to collaborate with cross-functional teams. That includes the marketing, the sales, and the regulatory affairs to really develop a commercialization plan for the new product or technology. They assess the market demands, pricing strategies, and reimbursement considerations to ensure the successful product launch. Lastly, but not least, they manage different relationships. They have to cultivate and maintain relationships with key stakeholders, including potential partners, investors, key opinion leaders, and regulatory authorities. And building and nurturing these relationships are essential for establishing the trust and credibility in this industry of biotechnology. As you can imagine, they have to leverage a lot of interdisciplinary expertise in science, business, communication, negotiation, in order to navigate this complex landscape of life science industry. So now is the interesting part, the real life example. All the information I shared today was acquired through an informational interview, so I just can't stress enough the importance of it. If you're in the job hunting process, or even you already have a job, cultivating those relationships and just getting to know the other industry is very important, and informational interview is the best way to do it. But anyways, so this person, let's call him Joe. He was in a BD role at a tech transfer office in a major academic institute, and then transitioned into BD at a smaller biotech company, okay? The BD team is relatively small, and he reports directly to the C-suite. There are a wide range of BD that they do. As you know, I mentioned typically what a BD professional does. He kind of covered a lot of it. But because he's the only one on the team with a bit more technical background, remember, he's from a research institution, it's really important for him to, be able to get feedback from R&D. And this is important, just like why consulting now also likes to hire people with more technical backgrounds. If it's, of course, life science consulting or a industry-specific consulting that require more technical expertise. Because these people, like us, with advanced degree holders, we understand more the science behind it, the technology, and I've worked with some of those products, so we can contribute and understand more behind the research and development. And why is it important? Because when you do a deal or collaboration with other companies, it is critical for you to understand, right, the science or technology behind it for you to really illustrate the advantage of it, or maybe disadvantage of if you're acquiring or doing a licensing agreement. So for his specific role, or kind of day to day, the company is kind of like a small to medium-sized company, and it is in its clinical stage. So when a company is in that phase, a big component is the sales side, which is talking to the big pharma. Also, they're at a size that is, just big enough to think about buy side, the assets or technologies that are enabling the target of interests. As I mentioned, the companies and roles vary based on the size and the stage. So the biggest factor is probably the size, per his experience. A 10-person company will be more erratic, and mid-stage companies will have more structure and processes that you will have opportunities to venture into something that is not, in your job description. While in big pharma, it is just very structured and formal that you kind of just follow the rules, For him specifically, the company has acquired another company a couple of years ago, and he has spent more time on the search and evaluation buy side. And that part of, the job gets more into the technical weeds and involves bringing the technical aspect to the senior leadership. He works with someone who has an investment background. By working together, one has the technical expertise, one has the investment background or more business oriented. They really bounce idea from one to the other as a team. He also spends some time to do something like less traditional as a BD. For example, he participates in important conversations in the new product planning and the target selection at more early phase of the drug discovery to have a more synthetic discussion that combines the business strategy with scientific reasoning. Again, this is why his technical background is really important for his role here. So how did he get the job? So when he was applying, he was looking for BD and tech transfer, that area. Specifically for the industry roles, he was focusing on BD, portfolio strategy, corporate strategy, and so forth. And all of these can be quite similar roles, especially in smaller companies. They might just have different titles, but regarding the job description, they might be very similar. He talked to a bunch of people in his network. Again, importance of informational interview. Also, at that point, it was a pretty hot job market, if you remember, 2-3 years ago. But, sadly, the current market is very different from a few years ago. But, you can't control that. Anyway, so he got plenty of interviews from a wide range of job search strategies, including the cold applying, just submitting resumes on the websites, talking to recruiters, and of course, talk to people in his network. For his interviews, he assessed what he wanted to do. So he was certain that he wanted to see both the buy and sell sides, but not too off that it doesn't have a BD component. For company stages, he was focusing on Series B to clinical stage. He did take some interviews at large pharmas just to compare, but personally, he preferred a role that engages with the science side, fairly deeply because of his personal interests. So when you think about, the career path for BD, people typically grow into a few roles. First, the corporate development or strategy role at a smaller company with just more responsibilities on top of your BD role. Second is the venture investment, so venture capital that I already talked about as well. And lastly, the venture creation, so it's more entrepreneurship. These are not all encompassing, but most common exists. So he has a few advice for people who are applying for BD roles. First, outline some of the different titles that are related to BD, as not all titles are just called business development. Like what I mentioned, the corporate strategy, the portfolio management. There are also occasionally roles in corporate finance. Second, pay attention to the common theme of the job descriptions. So you will see that, maybe two to three bullets that are the most important back then. In this job market, maybe 3 to 5, and really, nail down those points. Third, identify things that interest you the most and find a commonality between that and the job listings. Next point is, talking to the hiring managers or someone on the team, because A, the job description does not reflect all that is involved in the day-to-day, and B, find out what they need and why they create this job, and C, this job may have been backfilled or in a later stage of interview or vetting process that you might be too late for the game. And that's all from him, and that's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed my case study form of the content. Let me know if you have additional questions or comments on such video ideas. And please also let me know what other topics or examples you would like me to share. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.